Imagine a cold, quiet farmhouse, isolated from the rest of the world. Snow blankets the ground, muffling every sound, yet a sinister presence lingers in the air. The Hinterkaifeck farm, nestled in the Bavarian countryside of Germany, was once home to a family of 6. But in 1922, this peaceful abode became the site of one of the most gruesome and baffling murder cases in history. Now, what if I told you that the story of Hinterkaifeck has an eerie parallel in America? Stay with us as we unravel the chilling mystery of the Hinterkaifeck Murders and explore its unsettling connection to a forgotten American tragedy. This isn't just a story of murder, it's a tale of whispers in the dark, ghostly warnings, and secrets buried deep within the earth. The Hinterkaifeck farm belonged to the Gruber family, Andreas, the patriarch, his widowed daughter Victoria, her 2 children, Cecilia and Joseph, and their maid, Maria. Life on the farm was quiet, even monotonous. But in the months leading up to March 31st, 1922, strange occurrences began to disturb their routine. Footsteps echoed in the attic, yet no one could find their source. A mysterious newspaper appeared on their doorstep, though no one in the family had subscribed to it. Even more chillingly, a set of footprints was discovered leading from the nearby woods to the farmhouse, but none leading back. Despite these ominous signs, the Gruber family carried on. But then came the night of March 31st. That evening, neighbors noticed an unusual stillness around the farm. Smoke still rose from the chimney, and the animals seemed cared for, but the family was nowhere to be seen. Days passed, and the eerie silence grew louder. When concerned neighbors finally entered the farmhouse, they stumbled upon a scene straight out of a nightmare. In the barn, 4 bodies, Andreas, Victoria, little Cecilia, and Maria, were discovered brutally murdered. The killer had lured them there one by one, dispatching them with a mattock, a type of pickaxe. Inside the house, the bodies of Joseph and his crib lay lifeless, completing the horrifying tableau. The scene was macabre, but what made it truly unsettling was the killer's behavior. They hadn't fled immediately after the murders. Instead, they stayed in the farmhouse for several days, feeding the animals, cooking meals, and even lighting the hearth. It was as if the murderer had become a part of the household. Despite an exhaustive investigation, the case remained unsolved. Numerous suspects were questioned, from disgruntled neighbors to Victoria's rumored lovers. Theories ranged from a botched robbery to a crime of passion, but no definitive evidence ever surfaced. The Hinterkaifeck murders became an enduring mystery, a ghost story whispered across generations. Now, let's cross the Atlantic to America. In 1945, on the outskirts of Germantown, Pennsylvania, a family named the Hoopers experienced a similar tale of terror. Much like the Grubers, the Hoopers lived in isolation, their farmhouse surrounded by dense woods. And like Hinterkaifeck, strange events began to plague their home. Unexplained noises, objects moved from their usual places, and a growing sense of unease. One fateful evening, the Hooper family vanished without a trace. Days later, neighbors entered the home and found an eerily familiar scene. The family had been killed in a manner almost identical to the Hinterkaifeck murders, their bodies discovered in the barn and the house. Once again, the killer had stayed in the home, caring for the animals and even writing cryptic messages on the walls. The similarities were uncanny. Both cases involved isolated families, pre-murder warnings, and a killer who seemed to take a perverse comfort in their surroundings. But what could connect these 2 tragedies, separated by decades and an ocean? Some speculate that the American case was the work of a copycat killer, someone who had heard of the Hinterkaifeck murders and sought to replicate them. Others believe in a darker, more supernatural explanation, that the malevolent force responsible for Hinterkaifeck had somehow crossed the Atlantic, drawn to the Hoopers' secluded home. Paranormal enthusiasts point to the strange occurrences before both sets of murders as evidence of something otherworldly. Could the noises in the attic and the unexplained footprints have been warnings from restless spirits? Or were they signs of an evil presence biding its time? Skeptics, of course, dismiss these theories. They argue that the similarities are coincidental, the product of human imagination and fear. Yet, even the most rational minds struggle to explain the eerie parallels between the 2 cases. Over the years, both stories have become the stuff of legend, their details blurred by time and retelling. But one thing remains clear. The Hinterkaifeck Murders and their American counterpart are reminders of the darkness that can lurk in the most unexpected places. As we reach the end of this tale, one question lingers. Will we ever uncover the truth behind these chilling events? Or will they remain mysteries, their secrets buried along with their victims? Perhaps the answer lies in the shadows, waiting for someone brave enough, or foolish enough, to seek it out. Until then, the Hinterkaifeck Murders and the tragedy of the Hooper family will continue to haunt our collective imagination. Their stories a chilling reminder that sometimes the scariest monsters are the ones we cannot see.